Hey folks, in this video I want to show you how to pull in schemas from AWS Glue Schema Registry into EventCatalog. You can assign them to domains and services, producers and consumers, automatic versioning, and all sorts of things. So I'm going to show you how to basically set this up, get this running, and then you can have a play yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to the code, and what I'm going to do is actually, so this is on GitHub, there'll be a link in the description. But I have a basic catalog set up here, so I've just created a new catalog out of the box and I don't have much going on here. So what I'm going to do, I have this script in here. This is on GitHub. And what I'm going to do is actually create a test registry in AWS, okay? So this is going to do is going to go through, create me a schema registry, and create me some, as you can see, create me some files here. So let's create the schema registry, create me the files, the schemas, and added them into AWS. So let's wait for that to complete. Now that's complete. Let's go back over and have a look in AWS. This is the Glue registry. As you can see here, you go to Glue, and then down here you get the schemas. So this is some test data. But if I click on the EventCatalog test registry, I can see there's a bunch of schemas already in here that we have just created, which is fantastic. So next, how do we import these into EventCatalog? Well, you have different patterns and different workflows you can do. You can either like take everything in your registry, just dump it into EventCatalog and like go from there if that's the kind of thing you want to do. In this example, what I'm going to show you is actually assign some of these to some producers and consumers and even map them into a domain. And then we're going to go and version them and rerun it and see what happens in our catalog. So to do that, what I'm going to do is we're going to clear this, go back to the code. And in the EventCatalog config file, I already have this set up, but I'll walk you through it. We have this, so the EventCatalog config file, for those who do not know, this is just the configuration file for your EventCatalog. You can do various things here. One of these things is called generators, as you can see here. Let me zoom in. And then you can see here that we have the plugin. So there's a generator is a plugin. And what we're saying is we want to install and use the generator, the Glue one. And the region is the US East one. That's where we put our registry. The registry name is this is the test registry. And everything else is configurable and optional. So I've decided that I'm going to map this into a domain called the e-commerce platform. So I want to create a domain in EventCatalog called this and maintain that domain, right? And what I'm doing here is actually I'm going to say that I have a bunch of services. Now these services can be microservices, whatever you want them to be. I have a customer service, I have an order service, and an inventory service in my event-driven architecture. And what I'm saying to EventCatalog here, to the generator, is that this service here, the customer service, sends these particular messages, okay? Now, these messages can be, you can map these in all sorts of ways. So what I'm saying here, it produces and consumes a bunch of schemas, a bunch of messages. And all I'm saying here to EventCatalog is like the prefix, anything with customer, right? Anything, any event name with customer prefix will be sent from this service. Anything ending in profile updated will be also sent from this service. This is just an example, but you can use custom filtering techniques here to basically map schemas to producers and consumers. In the receives, what I have here is that we have the order that has been shipped, and this is a direct exact matching, okay? So the schema the order has shipped would be mapped to the consumer, which is this, all right? So if we go back over to AWS and look for the order shipped, you can see this is the exact matching, okay? So this one will be mapped to that. If I go down to the order service, I can see the order service, which is version 1, and it sends a bunch of messages and receives a bunch of messages, right? So all we're telling EventCatalog here really is that we have things, the services that belong in domain, and it so happens to be receiving and sending some of these messages. And then down here, inventory service, we use the same thing. We have other things like includes filtering. I'll show you some more examples later. Prefix here and the schema name and includes, okay? So in your example, what you would do is you would create a domain. If you want to use domain, that's completely optional. You could just pull in all the schemas, and this is in the documentation how to do that. Or you can just map them to producers and consumers. So why would you want to do this? Now, what this will allow us to do actually is allow us to automatically start documenting some of our event-driven architectures, some of our schemas from Glue. So what I'm going to run now is npm run generate. What this command is going to go and do is go to the registry. As you can see here, we're fetching schemas. It knows which schemas we're interested in, remember, because we kind of filled them out here. And all it's doing here is saying, okay, well, I'm going to start processing the domain. I'm going to create the domain. I'm going to create the service and create the schema, and I'm going to attach the event and the schema. And basically, EventCatalog is going to go through all of this and say, thank you very much. I've now given you an EventCatalog out of the box. Now, if you go to the domains folder here, this is all generated, the services, and you can see we actually start having some markdown and some events. These events also have the schemas and things like that, and I'll show you what this actually looks like rather than looking at markdown. So if I do npm run dev now, what this is going to do is start up EventCatalog on my machine, and then we're going to go to localhost. So now we're on localhost. As it's loading, what we're going to see here is actually everything we just documented. Okay, we went from 0 to an EventCatalog with Glue Registry in about 20 seconds-ish. So if I click on this architecture diagram, I can see here that this is our domain. These are the services and these are the messages. Everything you see here is driven by Markdown. Everything you see here is pulling the schemas from the registry. So I have a customer service schema, okay, a service, sorry. And you can see here we have the order shipped, and we have it receives an event, and it sends these two events over here. If I right click on one of these, and let's just dive into deeper into this, these are the event pages, okay? So we can see it sends this message, and we can actually open up these quick links here that has been generated for us. We have the message details with badges. So it says the format is Avro, JSON, whatever, protobuf, it doesn't matter. EventCatalog is technology agnostic, so it kind of works with anything. And down here we have the schema definition. Okay, great. We have this schema here, which is awesome. And if we have a look at another one, we can click on that and we can see and scroll down and you can see the schemas for this. Okay. So what's happening here is we're putting all the schemas, we're syncing them with our documentation in EventCatalog. Now there's a couple of things that you might want to do now. So now we've got this up and running. What we can do is go into our documentation. Okay. And now what we can do now is actually start to hydrate some of this information. So like example here, we have the customer that's been registered. Let's have a look for a JSON schema. Okay, as an example, we've got the customer profile updated. What we can come down here is actually just start to hydrate this information. So this is out of the box. This is the event that we've just had. We can actually start coming in here, hello world, and we can just start adding any contextual stuff that we want, right? Let's have a mermaid example there, and then we could just do what we want. We can assign owners for examples. We can add documentation. Now, why would you want to do this? Is because what we can do now is actually take our schemas from registry, and what we can do is actually assign and add information about the schema in EventCatalog. And when we pull new versions from the registry, it would automatically sync these into your catalog, into your documentation, into your teams. So I'll give you an example of this. Let's say we've made a bunch of changes to this file and we've added some information about we added information about this particular event, that it belongs to this particular domain, it belongs to this particular team. We've had owners and ownership. We've added some documentation. So what I'm going to do now is I show you what example that looks like. Customer profile updated, and come here. We can quickly search for this. Click on this, go down, and you can see the changes that we've made down here. Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is let's pretend things have changed in the future and we actually want to make changes to this event. So a team somewhere has made a change. And what I'm going to do is click on this, and we're going to bump the version of this. So I'm going to click on this, and we're going to register a new version. And let's say someone has deleted a new property on this field, okay? So we register a new version, and there is version 2. So the question is how do my documentation here get updated with this? Now you have to remember EventCatalog is a static documentation website, which is good because it allows us to build these things as many times as we want. So what you'd have here is just something on a cron job or whenever you want, or you could even listen to these events. But what you're going to do now is we can just come back here and open up the terminal, and we can run npm run generate again. Okay. So what this is going to do is going to go in and kind of figure out what has changed in the Glue registry. It's going to pull in the latest information for us, and it's automatically going to version things for us. So if we go back into the browser now and I refresh this, you can actually see that we were on the version 1. It's actually EventCatalog's told us there's a new version that's been out. If we go down here, we can see the updated by, updated at. If we go to the version 2, the latest one, and come down here, we can actually now see that the field is now gone. Okay. And it just keeps this information updated for us. We can click on the architecture diagrams, we can dive deeper, and we can just keep exploring this catalog as much as we want. So why is this cool? Because again, what this allows you to do is just pull in schemas from an external registry. If you're already using Glue Registry, you can actually pull these in and start documenting them, but you can add more meaning to the schemas, like what domains do they belong to, who's receiving this event, who's owning this event, and what team do I need to contact, and all sorts of things you can do with EventCatalog, okay? So how do you get started? My recommendation is just go over to eventcatalog.dev. You can find it on the website, go to integrations, and you can see here we've got Glue Registry. If you click on that, you can read the docs and see how to get started. Click on the install button, and there's a bunch of things here that will tell you how it works and what to expect. Go to the installation, it'll walk you through step by step how to do this and the permissions that you need and environmental variables, but even examples. So this example here will show you how to document all your schemas. Just pull in everything. I don't want to map them to a domain and service. You can do that. E-commerce platform here, you can actually start mapping. This is what we've been doing in this example. Team organization with tags. You can also do tag-based matching if you're using tags in a schema registry, which is really cool. Multi-format schema environments. So you can actually just say all the Avro schemas and JSON schemas. You can actually map them based on the type of file, if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. And advanced filtering using a mix of both or across account registry access. So all sorts of things. So I recommend head over to the docs here to get started and then have a play around and see what you think. If you have any questions at all, feel free to come on the Discord. There's a button up here, top right, Discord channel, drop in a message, say hello and just ask away, or go to GitHub and raise an issue if you find any problems like that. So hope you find it useful. This is a Glue Registry is actually a very popular service from AWS. A lot of people are using it to document their schemas. So hopefully, you can take your schemas and actually add more value onto them, map them to domains, services and teams, and actually help your teams understand what the hell is going on really with your schemas, but also with some documentation. So hopefully you found that useful. Thanks a lot for watching.